Aloha, everyone. Roy Tabora here, and we're up in my studio on the North Shore of Oahu, and we are going to continue our underpainting of this moonlight piece that we started a few days ago. And I was earlier thinking I might do some details on the mountains, but in keeping up with how I normally would work on stuff like this, it's probably best to finish the underpainting so that when you're going to go into the parts where it's going to involve some detailing, you're doing it with the whole thing being set up already, and that is very helpful, okay? Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to get carried away on a particular thing without having set up the rest of it yet. So after giving that some thought, I thought for the benefit of those that are trying to get some kind of system going, it's probably best that we finish the whole underpainting first, and then we can go into detailing all the other parts, okay? So with that being said, we also have Ann Wood producing everything. So,
good morning.
You know her, you love her, you can't get enough of her. And as for those of you that are joining us for the first time, we kind of have a really casual atmosphere. We try to promote that. Certainly when I'm doing this by myself without a camera on me, I don't have an environment that's all serious. My girls come in and out of the studio, and so I just wanted to promote what it is that is really authentic with how things are done here at the studio. Okay, so we're not going to be too serious about everything. However, the things that I'm going to try and impart on you to help you will be serious. Okay, so that is something to consider for yourself. And if you can improve on those things that I'm sharing with you, then by all means, go ahead and do that, okay? I'm just sharing with you the way I would do it, all right? Okay. Which is the correct way. For me.
The witty sidekick.
For me. All right. And so, okay, where would we start? As those of you that know, I start where it's darkest, right? So, in this case, some of you guys might guess the sky over the clouds, right? Because the sky is darker than the clouds. But you forgot about this mountain right here. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and underpaint this little bit here. And I left this out because I thought it would be much better to handle this while I'm handling the clouds. Because what I'm doing here is I'm trying to get the clouds to kind of be a part of this whole area here with the mountains sort of being in the clouds a little bit, okay? So we'll do that, and it's not going to take all that long because it's not a big part of that section. All right, here we go. And as usual, I mix my paints with liquid, right? And that is an alkyd that speeds up the drying of the paint. For those of you that are going to use it for the first time, if at all, you should know that the more of it that you use, the faster your paint's going to dry. So that might be something to keep in mind. And I would suggest just, don't add a whole lot of it in the beginning and get a gauge on how that works with you, all right? Ideally, I think it should be in pace with your own work pace, right? So that it's not drying faster than you can work, and that it's not drying too slowly that you're having to wait for it to be a certain consistency before you can proceed with the rest of your process. So that takes a lot of experimentation on your part because everybody's pace is different, okay? So, but anyway, having said all of that, let's get started.
Will you do your mixing kind of in here?
In the middle? Okay.
Kind of parallel to the yellow.
Parallel
I
to the
lost
yellow.
my white.
Parallel to the yellow. Okay. Yeah. Right here?
Yeah.
It's either yes or no.
That's a yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so we're going with the indigo again, which has been a staple for the whole thing here that we've been doing. And let's see. Oh, man, that's pretty close. Let's do it a little bit darker.
So it's just indigo and liquid.
And a little bit of white.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The white.
Titanium white.
Titanium white, yes. The white brings down the brightness of the indigo. Okay, because otherwise, if it's too saturated, it'll want to stick out, right? So we don't want that. Okay, so we're not concerned with the details of it, right? We're just covering this area that was done with a wash. But now we are going over the entire area, but this time we're doing it with opaque paint. All right, and that will serve as the base for that mountain that we will add details to later. Okay.
So is that the same shade as the mountain in front of it, or slightly different?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's slightly lighter. I don't know. Maybe you can't see it.
I can a little bit.
Yeah.
But I wanted to. I'm gonna
No,
zoom
it is.
in.
It is. And maybe in some parts it'll be more evident. And certainly by the time details and whatnot are added, it'll really be evident that this is not on the same plane as this mountain here.
Yeah, you can kind of tell. You can tell it's a little lighter.
Uh-huh.
But when it dries, will it darken to the other shade?
No,
or
no,
it's gonna stay.
It'll be what it is now, because this is the fresh look, right? So when it dries, it'll change. It might lighten up, but once you bring it back to life with some retouch varnish, it'll look like this, because it'll look like it's freshly painted, which is the idea. Because if you're going to work the details of a particular area, you want to make sure that you read that color correctly. Okay, so it's a little grayer, right? The chroma on this mountain here is brighter, right? That guy there in the back is lower, right? So the higher chroma stands out more. Okay, all right. So having done that, well, let's raise it up here a little bit more.
Oh, super fan Linda Hampton is on.
Linda,
I love it.
My goodness.
She actually has a question.
Okay.
She said,
Yeah.
so there's a liquid original and a liquid for detailing.
Uh-huh.
So she didn't know that there were.
I only use one. I only use the original. That's it. I can't comment on any other variety of it. But that's one of the good things about art, if it's at your disposal, that you can try a variety of different things that might help you with your work. Obviously, if you don't have to invest a whole lot of money just to experiment on something that you find that won't work for you, so you're not out a bunch of bucks, right? So either get a friend that has that and borrow a cup of liquid, or you can just buy them in the small portions, right? And try. But you know what? Try the original one. Obviously, that's what they came up with first, and who knows? Maybe that, just like me, I don't use anything else. That's just that. Okay. All right. So the mountain is put in there already. Now we will do the sky, and we will do the clouds last. Okay, so with the sky, I'm going to use that same mix that I had for this mountain here, but I am going to shift it towards this blue, which is a phthalo blue. Okay.
Julia Fink is on this morning.
Hey Julia, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
And you have a new friend. Her name is Maria Lemur Lissa. Maybe she is, she lives somewhere really beautiful.
Uh-oh.
She lives, I don't know where she lives. She lives somewhere cool.
Okay.
Oh, she lives in Russia. Wow. Lives in Moscow.
Hello.
That's in Russia.
Yeah, I know.
Moscow. I'll give you a geography lesson.
Well, actually, when I went to Washington State University in Pullman, 9 miles away from us in Idaho is a town called Moscow.
Oh.
Yeah. So back then we had great relations with Moscow because the drinking age was 19.
I love that.
Mm.
Morning, Carl. Carl Hubert's on.
Hey, Carl. Aloha. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Hi to Gwen. Okay, so I made the mix a little bit bigger, which because I knew it wasn't going to be enough. So I had more of the indigo and the white. I just made a bigger pile here, and then I added some phthalo blue, and you can see that the phthalo blue is a very saturated blue. Nice blue, but it's a very saturated. So I'm gonna kind of tone it down a little bit. And for those of you that are following closely with your color wheel, you know that opposite blue is orange, right? So I'm going to add a little bit of orange to it, which is, in my case, I'm using the cadmium red light, okay? And so that, a little bit of that, and you got to just, take a look at it so you're still in that area, but it's not so bright anymore. You just take that down a little bit. And we'll see if we are close. Oh, okay. That's about right. Okay. So I'm doing the areas that are farthest away from the moon first. Okay, because progressively as I get closer to the moon, I will shift more to a brighter blue, lighter, brighter blue, away from the indigo part. Okay, and I'm not worried too much about the shape of the clouds because I'm going to go back into it later and define it more. So this is the part where you're just concentrating on having a sky that's pretty even, right, as best as you can, and not to worry about it so much because again the skill set that you're trying to elevate is really dependent a lot on good information, which I'm hopefully providing for you guys, and then your part is practice. You have to practice, okay? If you're expecting to get it right away, that is the incorrect mindset. It's the correct attitude, all right, that you're going to get it right, okay? But odds are you're not going to get it as right as you would hope. But that's fine, all right? Everybody that I know that is awesome went through that. You just can't let that be a big deal in your head, okay? So more of that. And like I said, even if you cover some of the clouds that you had in the wash, don't worry about it. No big deal.
Because you can just make them anywhere later?
You can create clouds later. In fact, that is the reason why I didn't have any clouds here. It's not as if the finished product that I won't have any. It's just that, it's pointless at that point. I would much rather have it free and clear where I am trying to underpaint without having to avoid clouds in that area, so I can paint and feather without much obstruction. Yeah.
You're using a thick brush today too, wide.
Wide, yeah. Well, it's a big area, right?
Yeah.
So therein lies the part where you use the right tool for the job, right? So already you can tell by having the underpainting darker than the wash that the clouds are sticking out a lot more, right? The contrast is more severe, right? In the wash, they're kind of close, yeah. And that's okay. All of these things you're just gonna get used to.
Oh, here's an interesting fact.
Is it a fact?
It is a fact that Stephen Courtley, one of our artists, turns 50 tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Happy birthday in advance. I remember when I turned 50.
I remember when you turned 50.
Yeah, we had a big party.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. We had a jazz singer.
Yep.
I was out at your friend's property. It was
Yep.
good.
Yeah.
People came from outer islands. They came in limos.
I know. It was like an assemblage of humanity that at any other time would have no business being around each other. But I was the common denominator, and I was very, very touched. And also, what was the thing was, on my 50th birthday marked the 25-year anniversary of when I decided to paint for a career. So at that point, I was looking around with what was going on in my life, and I knew that 25 years ago, I didn't have any of it.
Wow.
And everything was done in that 25 years that ensued.
That's pretty cool.
It was really cool. I mean, that wasn't the point of the whole deal, but it was a nice observation.
Still painting like a boss.
Well, until the eyes fail me.
I will get you bionic eyes.
Hopefully science
I'm
will.
younger. I have more time left. You need to paint more.
Okay, easy now, easy. Okay, so the parts that touch the mountain unobstructed by clouds, you put that in there. Okay, actually I had a cloud on here right now. To make my life easier, I am gonna go ahead and cover that, because I can add that on later.
Trish, oh my goodness,
Trish made it. Her
Woo-hoo!
alarm worked.
She finally found you. She was waiting on another page.
What?
That would be, I love it.
What page? So we can warn people not to go there.
We used to have another Tabora page. I might have to look into that and shut her down.
I wonder how many people are over there waiting. Whoops.
Boy, Trish, we wanna play your music. You're in Gary's music on our video. We need to fix Roy's speakers. Stereo.
Yeah, the whole thing. The whole thing broke, so couldn't do it.
Maybe gotta get your music on Spotify or something, and then we can download it. Was that loose or something, or did you just adjust?
It was just
angle?
yeah, it was loose, and it's worn. This easel was custom made by my brother Ruiz, about 40 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so somebody was asking where I got it, and you know, I hadn't thought about it until that question came up. But and then there's a lot of wonderful easels out there, but obviously this is what I started with, and it's been my lucky easel. So we're gonna go with this.
That's pretty cool.
Mm.
Matter of fact, what we'll do is we'll go a little bit live so people can see. Here's his
Okay.
whole table. His painting table. And there is.
Okay. So now what we'll do, well, let's make it a little bit more even, I guess. Okay, so it's basically kind of circular, roughly. So now we're going to shift away from this color and go towards a lighter blue. But we're running out of paint, so we have to make another pile. And when you do that, try and not cover up the entire old mix so that you can compare what you're mixing new to the old mix, so that you don't wander too far away from the original mix, right?
Got clean turpentine out. It's so clear, it's like water. It's so clear, it's see-through.
It's actually vodka.
Oh,
Okay.
from Russia.
From Russia, with love. All right, so, oh, let's see, is that too light? Nah, no, let's go with that. Okay, so kind of fill in the parts. Don't mix it in with the old mix just yet, because that will obviously get your brush dirty. And at this point, you just want to preserve this color that you have on your brush, right? And you just mark off the an area kind of equidistant from the moon all the way around. Doesn't have to be very, very precise. I mean, get it as close as you can.
Oh, Norma
Kazin,
Kazin.
Joe Betsy's sister.
Oh, that's Joe Betsy's sister, yeah.
Yeah.
She loves watching you create. She remembers you every day when she looks at your beautiful paintings on her walls.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, we go way back.
Did she live in Hawaii too?
No. But Joe Betsy used to work for Marty Kahn, right?
Yep.
And so she would be around then.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So now you've got that kind of mapped out, right? Is that pretty even? Yeah, I guess so. Pretty even. Okay. So now you can creep this color into the first color that we had.
That's an art term, creep.
I'm
going to put that on my list.
It's used for other things, but
Change one letter.
Yeah.
Creepy or creep in? Creeping in.
well, whatever snaps your radish, do that. Okay, so I've got it pretty much all the way up to the edge of where the old, the first color, the darker blue color is. So now what I will do is I will blend it in. you know.
Ooh, I like that color.
Thank you.
This painting's getting so exciting.
It was actually exciting from the beginning.
I know, but it's really cool because I really have never seen you paint 100% of a painting and everything that goes into it. And things will bug me, like you're making a circle around the moon, and is that line going to show through? Except I know it's going to get covered up.
Yeah. You got a little faith.
It's really cool. I only see the end product, and I can't believe you made so many blues. Now I know where they came from. They came from indigo and white.
To begin with.
Jeez.
Okay. So, and then just remember that, you know, you're always doing your best, right? So, you know, as you're trying to blend it, you know, it may not be the way you'd really like to blend it, right? But the fact that you're trying to get it right is huge, because if you just do that every time, guaranteed you will get it. Okay? You will. You know, because when I was first doing this with the blending, okay, probably that's not a good example because I did get it right away. No, I'm just kidding. I did not. I did not. One thing is though, I did not give up, right? So that's always a good thing. Don't give up, right? Get better, right? Figure out what you did wrong. Remember, we're identifying our mistakes, right? We are not going to sugarcoat anything, right? A mistake is a mistake. That's fine. We're not gonna cry about it. What we're gonna do is we are going to fix it.
Well, can you make a mistake at this stage?
Sure, you can make a mistake at any stage, right? So again, but the idea is to don't let it devastate you, right? But you have to identify it as a mistake.
What would be a mistake? Like the wrong color?
Yeah, it's too bright, it's too dull, it's too dirty. You know, those are things that, you know, you can't help that when you're new at something. You know, I mean, just you gotta know. I mean, you can remind yourself that every expert that you know in any field didn't start out as an expert.
Philip Gagnon is on.
Gagnon.
You know, French people.
No, it's you.
That's why I named my dog Louis, because I could say Louis. Gagnon.
No. All right, making fun of people's names is not a good idea.
He will forgive me.
Yeah, he will.
I'll just call him Philip.
Or Phil.
PG is on.
Phil. Yeah, just make it easy on yourself. Okay. And so this is the last area. So basically, I'm taking the lighter blue and blending it into the darker blue. And then as I'm picking up some dark blue in my brush, then I kind of work it back a little bit into the light blue, right? And so back and forth. It goes into the light blue, then it goes into the dark blue until there's enough area in between the two colors that acts as a buffer between those two colors, and so it's the transition is softer. All right. And if there are areas that are, you know, kind of wonky, don't worry about it. You got your clouds, so it can cover up a lot of the other areas that are not blended as well as others. Yeah. So the main thing is don't sweat it. All right. If you see areas that could use a little bit more blending, go ahead and do that. Any kind of practice that you can get while you're blending is good. Okay. Oh, I see every time I look over here, I see something else that could be better.
It's kind of cool. Trish commented, she remembers being here at the studio with you while you're explaining how things are done. And she said the greatest thing about you is that you don't give up on people till they get it.
Yeah, well, you know what? My philosophy is that the onus is always on the teacher, right? If the student doesn't get it, it's not the student's fault, right? You have to take it upon yourself to figure out a way how you can make the student understand it to their benefit, right? So all of that is on me. That's why we welcome questions. So in case what I'm saying is confusing or doesn't make any sense to you, speak up, because the point of all this is to help you, okay? And if that's not happening, well, we don't want that. What we want is that you are able to make sense of what you're doing with your work as you are basing it on what I'm doing. Okay. All right. So now what we want to do as we're getting closer to the moon, the glow around the moon is a little on the yellow side, okay? Ooh. So you're probably anticipating, okay, wait a minute. If we're going to end up with a yellowish glow and we got blue, right, that's going to transition into the yellow, some of you guys are probably ahead of me now. You're thinking, hey, that's going to make green. And you are correct, okay? So we're not going to do it that way precisely for that reason. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to put in there another color in between the yellow and the blue to not have green show up, okay? Because if it's yellow blended into the blue, it will be green, right? So these things you can count on to avoid if that's not what you want, and you can count on it to do that if that is what you want, right? In this case, we don't want the green in the sky. So what we'll do is we will transition the blue more into a kind of a little bit on the purple side, right? Meaning that we will add some red to the blue, right? Because that will make the purple, right? But it'll be subtle, right? The key and the tricky part is to make it subtle. The transition has to be smooth, right? But once you get to a more purplish side of the light blue, then when you add the yellow closer to the purple, well, those are, again, on your color wheel, those are opposite each other, right? So they will tend to cancel each other out, right? A little bit. Well, you'll see what I mean. I just wanted to explain that ahead of time so that you can kind of follow why I'm doing what I'm doing, okay? So now we got this light blue, and we're gonna mix some more of that. Let's see.
That's that. What red is that?
It's like a magenta, but it doesn't. You know what? It's not what I really would like. So let's get another color in there. This one is what is this? Manganese Violet.
Ooh, I like that.
Right,
color.
or basically, you know, whatever it is that you can get that's on the purple side. That's good. You don't have to follow my colors exactly. You know, just be in the neighborhood of that, right? Whatever you got going on, do that. Let's see. Okay, so it's already a little bit grayer, yeah? Purplish,
Oh, yeah.
yeah? So again, the way you did the light blue, do it this way as well. All right. We're not doing any blending just yet. We're just gonna lay it down. Of course, you're snagging some of the blue on there because it's still wet, and that's fine. A little bit of that. It's not gonna really compromise anything major. Okay. Now we will blend it into the light blue. And I'm hitting the area in between the purple and the light blue.
Oh, Mary Jean's online.
Hey, Mary Jean.
She's already in Kapolei.
What are you doing there?
She's up early too. She's getting frames and, you know, art stuff.
Art stuff, okay. That's good.
When you want a masterpiece in your house, Mary Jean, she runs and gets it for you.
Okay.
And
Good.
Ruiz.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he picked up some awesome giclées, I think, today.
Yep.
Ship them out.
Okay. And what I do is I kind of blend it into the blue in sections, yeah? So let's say, you know, we got the left and the right side, top and the bottom. So I will take this, let's say the right side, and just slowly creep it in to the blue. Okay. Get rid of the blue that I picked up and do the same thing here.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm. And then down here, do the same thing. Again, I get rid of, oh, one second. This hair. Don't want
No
that.
stray hair.
And then down up here, right? Then get rid of the blue that you pick up. You know, and just look at all that. Blend, 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 blend. Get rid of the blue. Go some more. Get rid of the blue.
I missed it. Why do you have all those swish marks on your pack?
Well, as I'm blending into the blue, I'm picking up the blue on my brush, right? And I got to get rid of that, otherwise it's going to change the color I'm
Gotcha.
putting on, which is kind of on the purple side, and that color will continue to shift as I dip in there with a dirty brush, right? So we want to get rid of that. I mean, it's not a perfect thing. So, but you are getting rid of a lot of that blue paint, which is gonna dirty up your mix. So you don't want too much of that. Okay. So now, oops. What we'll do is we'll get rid of some of these guys. So I'm running out of room.
What are you using to get that off of there?
Just a paint scraper.
Oh, and we had mentioned this in one of the earlier sessions, but you're painting actually on a piece of glass.
Yes, that's painted white on the back, so it's not transparent.
And did you just use spray paint or titanium white on the back?
It's spray paint.
Mm-hmm. Just white.
Yep. Any spills, we want to take care of it right away.
We got lots of brushes set up and more brushes.
Oh yeah. Okay. So now, let's do some more of that.
Sorry, is this a new color or are you matching it to the color that you're using?
I'm just doing the purple thing, but less blue in it, right, and more purple, because remember that the blue mixed in with our yellow is going to turn it green.
Yep.
So I'm trying to eliminate that as best as I could. So I'm moving away from the blue and more into the purplish color. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to blend it into the adjoining color. Again, I'm hitting the border between the two.
Carl noticed your sriracha.
Well, we're gonna put a little spice in the paint.
It's filled with liquid, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Giving Linda Hampton lots of good material.
Good.
I can't wait to see what she does with it all.
All right.
Now she understands why your moon has so many colors, because there are.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, when you understand what's going to happen with your colors when you mix them, it's easier to make these decisions, and the chances are you're going to start deciding correctly more than incorrectly because you understand what's going to happen when you do mix certain things, certain colors a certain way. But when you don't know what you're doing, yeah, you're going to run into a lot of problems, no question.
So would you say that every time you're doing a moon piece, this is kind of the setup you would do, the same color, the same?
No, I might vary a little bit. That's the point. It's like I might use different blues, different purples, different yellows, but the fact that they're blues, purples, and yellows is the same, right? But for as a variety, just to you have to make sure that what you're doing is not monotonous for you, okay? Because once it is, you're going to lose interest, okay? And you don't want that. You don't want that. You want to be excited all the time, if you can, right? So whatever you can do to feed into that excitement, well, do that.
Let's see, somebody wants to know when is our next session going to go live. So
I don't know. You're the producer.
I'm thinking we might do something really interesting. And
I mean, this is not interesting enough?
I think we're gonna get really serious, and we're gonna go live every day next week, Monday through Friday. We're gonna go live at 8:30 a.m. and we're gonna do about a 2 to 3 hour session for the next week. I want to see some progress.
Excuse me, I'm doing my best.
I'm getting really excited. I can't wait. I want to see it starting to come into the detail section where I can truly be amazed, because I'm already just flabbergasted by how it's going. This is amazing to watch. So I think Monday morning, 8:30, you can catch us live, streaming on Facebook, and then you can catch all the repeats on our YouTube channel, Tabora Gallery Waikiki. We've got our first 6 sessions posted already. So remember, it's called Tabora Gallery Waikiki. That's our YouTube channel. You can follow us, subscribe, catch all the videos. We have videos of our other artists on that channel too. So you can get a real treat by seeing some of the other artists create their work too. We got Troy Oglesby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Troy. Welcome.
Oh my gosh, Linda Hampton can hear roosters.
We're in the country, baby. He's in the country.
Oh, Mike Mangiano.
Mangiano.
He's up this morning in Florida.
Hey, Mike. Welcome.
He said it's a rainy afternoon over there.
Uh-oh.
Oh, actually, Troy asked if our next one can be a sunset. If we can stream live a sunset.
Let me finish this first. You know what? There's a reason I started with the moonlight first, because it's doesn't involve too many colors, right? So it's a good subject to kind of ease into, without having to mind too many things. I mean, I kind of equate it to like my favorite example with a lot of things is when you're spinning plates on a stick. If you remember the Ed Sullivan show way back when, but to manage a whole lot of stuff for the beginner is probably not a good idea, right? So, and then for the seasoned pro, it'd be nice to see if what you're doing matches or contrasts with what I'm doing, and either you pick up a few things here and there, or you validate that your way is the best. Either way, it's a positive thing, right? Either way. Okay, so now what we'll do is we're gonna shift to getting it more yellowish, yeah? So, but before we do that, let's make some more room.
It's easy to scrape. It's like sliding on glass.
Yeah, it's like glass, yeah?
Smooth like glass. But you're not getting rid of your blues because you'll use those again.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Where am I going to use them on?
Everything.
On the clouds. Okay. So what we'll do is clean this off a little bit. And let's see. I think let's work on this guy a bit. Well, no, I think it's fine. What we'll do is we will shift to more yellow, right? So before we do that, we're going to go from what it was that was purple. And let's go with a little bit of the cadmium red light. See, it's turning it into this color. Okay, let's see.
Oh, Jim Swikert's still looking for a green brush like that, he said.
Okay, try not to pay attention to the handle, Jim. Just get an acrylic or a synthetic bristle. That's what I'm using. It's synthetic. It's about 5/8 of an inch wide, right? Get one, try it out, see if you like the spring in it, this, that, and the other. Try not to get too locked into anything else other than what the bristle is and how it feels to you.
And P.S. Jim, he's only got like 3 green handled brushes that I can see, so everything else is blue. When this one breaks, he's out of the green.
Right. Luckily, I don't depend on the color of the
handle.
So,
We will survive.
well. Okay. So now we'll blend this guy.
Oh, here's someone new. Good morning to Go Bind Boys. Do we know him? Go Bind? He says, aloha, always earn a good delivery.
Her.
Oh, her, sorry. Oh, is that her name? Go Bind? Is that how you say it? Go Bind? I like it.
Govin.
Nice. She is not matching, but contrasting for sure. Oh, she paints beautiful flowers. I'm stalking her.
Mm. Oh, there's a lot of very talented colleagues out there.
Oh my
Very-
gosh.
very
Palm
talented.
trees. She does beautiful waves. She has gorgeous
yeah.
work.
She's been here before.
Oh. I'll tell you, she's kind of cool. And you know what she has? She has Japanese vases for the plants, just like you do.
You mean Chinese?
Chinese? I don't discriminate. Chinese, Japanese. It's all beautiful. Beautiful art. White and blue porcelain. That's what I'll just call it. Look at that come together. It looks awesome.
Okay, and so now we're gonna switch brushes because we're gonna get closer to the moon, and I want to preserve the shape of the moon. So we will go with not my brushes. Let's see. I guess we could use this guy. So I'm gonna switch to a number 6 round, but you know, the number doesn't matter, right? Because just look at it and see whether or not that's the right size and shape that you want.
So why are you going to use a different brush?
Well, because the other one's too big and clumsy,
Oh,
is I'm
okay.
gonna try and preserve the shape of the moon. So this is gonna be more precise.
Got it.
Okay, and I'm gonna use my maul stick to steady my hand.
All right.
It's a little too dark. A little bit of light to it. That's better.
Karen Halbert's on. She says, say hello to Roy for me.
Hey Karen, how are you?
She's in hot Arizona. Right.
Welcome, welcome.
Oh, that's so fun. She's been watching every episode.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she plans to begin to practice her own moon version now that her indigo order has
Came
come
in?
in. Karen.
Okay.
Are you ever painting when you're doing something like, say, you know, making this perfect circle and you think, can you just not talk to me right now?
I can. I can. What do you want to talk about?
No, I just wondered if, you know, you needed like a serious moment where you're like, everyone's distracting me. Can you just all shut up and let me do my thing?
Well, there's a thought, but that would be going away from what we're trying to do here.
Look at the yellow. I see the yellow.
So there's a glow. There's a glow a little bit on there, right?
Yeah.
So what we want to do is we want to spread that out a little bit. Right. So blend out. Get the bottom part to blend out. The top part. The sides.
Okay, here we go.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Linda.
Okay, so let me get this straight. The moon looks yellow because of the blue, purple, and red colors blended around it. You never used any yellow, right?
Not yet. I used an orange. But the orange is kind of, I mean, obviously the orange has yellow in it, right? It's red and yellow, right? So I used an orange that favors the yellow more than the red, right? So now what we want to do is, you want to blend that some more, right?
Bob Hoff is on.
Hey, Bob. Welcome. Did you get your paint set yet?
Gosh, yep. The glow is coming. You are right, Trish. It's coming.
Just keep blending it, right, so that you don't have any harsh divisions on there, right? And then what we'll do is we'll blend it even further. I got a clean brush.
So nothing on that brush. It's just totally dry.
Yeah, clean and dry. Well, not now. It's got, but and even though I'm kind of blurring the edges of the moon a little bit, that's fine. Not like you don't know the shape of the moon, right? So do that, and then let's go ahead and go back out here. You know, this really does take practice.
Oh, Linda says she ordered indigo on Amazon and they sent her pale rose blush.
That's close. That's close to being exactly wrong. Must be a serial number mix-up.
Delicate wisping to blend. That's what it takes, according to Trish.
And practice. Okay.
So here's a question. Not being an artist,
Let's remember this.
Yes, and most importantly, how much pressure are you putting on the canvas when you do that blending?
The blending is you don't want to put a lot of pressure. That's a good question, actually, because if you put a lot of pressure, you're actually going to move a lot of the paint around, right? Which you really don't want to move a lot of it, right? So you kind of do your first blending when you're applying the paint itself. So basically, you're just feathering the blending that you did earlier, right? You're not gonna start blending two colors that have a really clear division between them. You should try and blend that with on the first application. Try to get it as close to being blended as possible, and then you come in with your dry brush and then just feather out that blend, if that's the style that you want. Some people like to keep the blend where you see the brush strokes. That's perfectly fine as well. That is, if that's part of what it is that you like and the way you want to express your paintings, then do that. More painterly if you want. If it's more painterly, you don't even need the blending brush, right? Because a painterly style really doesn't use a blending brush, right? You just do the blend visually, right? By juxtaposing a lot of colors right next to each other, and then when you look at it from a distance, they seem to blend together, right? And if that's the style you like, then that's perfectly fine. Like I said, I'm just showing you how I do it, right? It's not the only way to do it, okay? All right, so now we got that out of the way. So we got a glow going on. Remember, with the glow, what you don't want to do is you don't want it bright. You don't want the chroma high on the glow, you know, not too much, because the bright part is the moon, right? And so if this guy here is bright, then the moon is not going to stand out as being bright up against something that's already bright, right? So, but, you know, people neglect to think about it like that. So, you know, it's obviously lighter, right? From the blue, it got lighter, but I was conscious not to make it stand out too much, right? It'll stand out from the value side of it because it's lighter against a dark background. So, of course, it's going to sort of stand out. But that's okay, right? The main thing is keep in mind that the brightest thing in this whole area is the moon. So don't do anything that's close to that. Okay. So now we will underpaint the clouds. Okay. Okay. And we will go with my original mix, which was the indigo and the white. Let's see, that looks like that might be a little, is that too? That's not bad. But let's make it a little darker. Okay, about like so. Yeah, I think I like that better. So that's more indigo and white mixed into my original mixture.
And have you wiped your brush at all? Barely, right? You just
What do you
keep
mean?
using, like, you don't wipe it off. You just
Well,
using the same paint, yeah?
look at my.
Oh, you're just wiping it on there and not the towel.
No, no. Again, if you need it clean, then clean it. If you don't, then don't. So, and I kind of like the old colors to still be a part of the new mix. So, I don't. But if I wanted my brush really clean, then yeah. As you can see where my paint thinner is, it's still crystal clear. So I haven't washed a brush yet. Okay, now let us get it close to the mountain.
Oh yeah, that looks like gray almost.
It is gray, blue-gray. But remember, I got a little bit of, all these other colors that I've been using in my brush, right? So it's not as pure a mix as it can be, but I'm showing you that even though it's not, it's really okay. It's no big deal. It kind of helps bring the family of colors together, yeah? So they're sort of related a little bit because, it's got some of those other colors in it, even though there might be so minute it's not noticeable, but it's in there. Okay. Some over there. Okay. And let's do this first.
Oh, Grace Fairfax is on.
Hey, Grace. How are you? We miss you.
Oh, so our friend Gobind?
Gobin.
Govin, but it has a B. Gobind. Govin.
I know how it's
All
spelled.
right. Okay. It's so pretty. Govin. She says she likes how you circle the brush instead of trying to outline the mountain.
Outline the mountain. Circle the brush. I'm not sure I understand. But it's probably what I'm doing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, instead of just taking it and lining
Oh,
it.
and doing it like
yeah.
that. I could. I mean, whatever works for you. This actually, I have a pretty good idea where my brush tips are, and even if I bite into the mountain as it is, it's okay because at some point I'm going to detail the mountain anyway. So I don't worry about that edge beyond just covering the canvas wash. Yeah. So whatever it is that yields you the result you want, do it that way. Kadok. Alrighty, then more liquid. Just covering up the light areas, and then I'm going to worry about the edges a little bit later. I don't want to do it now because, as you guys know, it'll dirty up the brush, and I don't want to have to keep cleaning it at this point. So I'm just going up all the way to the edges of where the other color is, and deal with the edges later on where I won't mind the brush picking up the other color so much. And besides, it's a cloud, right? So it's not going to be perfect. And so by it not being perfect, it's actually perfect, right? Because that's the way it's supposed to look, right? I'm going to switch to a smaller brush later when I do the edges. All right, so I'll do that. Cover it all up. We should do this guy as well. Remember that the blue sky that you did earlier today is starting to set up. Yeah, not to the point where it's not workable, but it is setting up because I use liquid in it, right? So it's starting to dry, right? But it's still workable. You can still blend. You can still feather. And again, you can detail all of this out later on, so don't worry so much about how it's looking. Just try to make it look like a cloud, right? Some solid parts, some wispy parts. Main thing is you don't want it bright, right? Okay, and then so some more. Let's work on this upper part right here. More white and indigo. Okay. Let's see, that looks good. So I'm just basically just gonna cover up the space. Cover this guy too. Okay, and then a little bit more.
Oh, Bob Hoff is losing his mind because you're covering those gorgeous clouds. He goes, I obviously don't know what I'm doing.
Well, you know, the wash was a guide so that I can remember what I was thinking I was gonna do. But now that I know what I'm gonna do, I don't need the guide anymore, right? So it's okay to cover them now because I know where to put them back.
Fight into the mountain. That's art talk. Linda's getting my lingo now. She understands me.
Oh no. Okay, and then we'll go back in here. It's a little darker, but it brings it a little closer to the value of the mountain, so it makes a easier transition. More of that. And let's get the edge of the mountain all kind of dialed in. Again, don't worry about it if it bites into the mountain a little bit. You're going to do the details and you can handle that area later.
Let's see. I got you covering up what you're doing.
I am.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
Sorry about that, folks. Did somebody complain?
Only me. No one complains but me.
Okay, so I'm just handling the edge part of it, of the mountain and the cloud. Again, I have a pretty good idea where the edge of my brush is, so I do the stroke keeping in mind where the edge is, so I ease up on the stroke as I get close to the edge.
Oh, Susan is on.
Susan.
Bella's client. I won't botch her last name. Shows in it. But we love you, Susan. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Susan.
She wants you to use your stick.
Hey, this is a family show. Remember, everything has a reason, so if there's no reason for it, then let's not do that. Okay.
So you've just been sticking with that color, right?
Yep.
Same color.
And white and a little bit of, all the same colors that I used on everything. So sometimes it's lighter, like this guy here is a little bit lighter, right? So that's for Bob, so that we'll get some of that shape back in there. But I mean, we can do a lot more later, but for now, we don't want his blood pressure to go too high. There you go, Bob. A little bit of shape. Okay, I'm still preserving this area here to be clear of clouds. What, somebody tell a joke?
Oh, Susan's saying your arm's gonna get tired, old man. You better get that stick out.
Did you buy stock in the mall stick industry?
Bob says thank you.
Sure. So before I feather this area here, let's put in some lighter areas. All right, and I'm not using the entire width of the brush. I'm just using one corner of that flat, same brush, right? But you learn how to use just certain parts of it for your purposes. If you're covering big areas, then you use the entire thing. If you want just little dabs, then you just use the tip of it. If you want even smaller ones, smaller strokes, then you just use the one corner of it instead of the full width. The more you get to know your materials, the more weapons that you have at your disposal, so you don't have to keep switching brushes all the time, right? It'll serve your purpose in a lot of areas, right? Okay, so I'm keeping this area still clear because the other clouds that I'm going to put on there, I'll wait until this is dry, okay? Because otherwise it's just going to get dirty. And I found that out the hard way. So I'm just giving you guys the warning now. Okay, so now that that's kind of laid in there, I'm going to soften it all up again using the brush that I used earlier to feather the sky. I haven't washed it. I just kept wiping it, right? So it's still dry. It's not wet from the paint thinner. Okay. So this gets rid of the harsh strokes if that's what you want to do. If you like to see the strokes, then you can skip this part. Or you can do this for some and then not for the others. You know, whatever it is that you believe will help your painting look the way you want it to look, then do that. And then if that proves to be not the way to go, then don't do it next time, right? But you have to experiment a little bit, right? That way you're just not locked into what you're being taught, but you're being taught how to basically be able to do these paintings without having to follow somebody's instructions all the time, right? You can make up your own mind the way you want to do it. But these are the kind of effects that will yield you certain looks, and then you decide if that's the look you like. And if that's the look you like, then you're seeing how to get it. If you don't like that look, then don't do it this way. All right? So I'm just going over the edges first and feathering out the strokes. Later on, when that thing is dry, I can come back to it and define it a little bit more. Like so. And to not do it evenly is probably a good idea, because the clouds have a way of being kind of random. So if you can emulate that, that's favorable. That's a good thing. And whoops, remember that we were gonna have the clouds kind of creep in here, right? So let's do that. And that is indigo, if you guys recall. And the clouds are kind of, well, they're thin, right? So they, you should be able to see the mountain through it.
Very soft wisping of a cloud.
You need a moment? Okay,
we should all take a moment.
Okay, we will do the same thing to the top part down there, so it's not an abrupt line. Okay. And this part is the scary part. Not for me, but for you. But don't worry, it's just a cloud, right?
It's just a cloud.
That's all it is. And you're still retaining the shape of the mountain. And some parts are not into the clouds, so you can leave that alone. And they don't all have to be connected, so you can have some clouds break away from it. Okay. And again, you got your blending brush, and you want to feather that edge a little bit so that it's a lot softer. Do the same thing here. Like so. Is that good? A little bit more. There you go.
Nice.
Yep. So, and we planned that, right? We were going to do that. So,
it looks really
there
good.
we are, right? So now, the only thing that needs to be underpainted is the moon. Correct?
We have 20 more minutes that we could film today, or do you want to stop till?
Well, let's do the moon.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Is this when you're going to put yellow in there? Just checking.
It's gonna be yellowish, but I'm gonna do the dark spots of the moon first. And Susan, I'm gonna use the maul stick now. Brace yourself.
We're having some connection issues, so I might not be able to see your Facebook comments for a little bit, but we'll catch up to them when we can get back on. We're in a rural area of Hawaii,
Hey,
up on top of a mountain.
that's good, right?
Yeah. So we don't always have great connections. We're not city folk.
You said you have terrible connection with your internet and all of that, right? Didn't you just say that?
Yes.
Okay.
But I live in the farming community. I think it was a farming community before it became a little more urban. Wetlands. Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Going for the zoom.
Okay. So now, remember, all of this is just an underpainting. So we're going to go over a lot of this later on, and we'll put more definition and more details. But first, I'm thirsty. Okay, so now we will do the moon. Let's see. Somewhat of a skinny brush. Okay, this guy here. Got a number 2, but basically it's just small round. Okay, we need more white and some liquid. Okay, doke.
Outlining the moon.
Yeah, defining the edge. And I am defining the edge with a lighter color of of this guy here, of the glow. But since it's the outer edge, I'm not gonna make it that bright. I'm going to reserve the brightness for the inside of the moon. Okay, and then do this. So you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but the outer edges of it is not as bright, yeah? It's grayer. Can you see it or not really? Well, again, this is just the underpainting, so.
You know what? I am not sure. I'm gonna stop and we're gonna restart. It could just be that we're having issues, but when I'm looking on Facebook, it says we were live. We're not currently live.
Oh, we're not, okay.
No. So I'm gonna stop us.
Okay.
We're back live and working on the moon. Sorry, we lost a little bit of our reception. Cloud coverage. So you were outlining the moon, right?
Yep.
That's what we were doing?
Yeah, and just letting everybody know that it's not, the outline is a little on the gray side. So that I can do the middle part to be brighter. So you don't want those edges to be bright, because you kind of want to convey the spherical nature of the moon, right? Even though when you're looking at it in real life, you know, the brightness of it is not really something that helps you see that it's a sphere, but it is. So you got to keep that in mind when you're painting it. Because that will just help you make it look more believable, yeah? Okay. Okay. So there we go.
Nice.
Thanks.
Gorgeous. It's gorgeous and glowing.
Okay, so the whole painting is now underpainted.
We're going to drive back a little bit so we can show the whole thing. Nice.
And then once the details are in there more, it'll be obviously more convincing, right? But right now, there's a lot of flat areas, all right? You just got to keep it cool about that. You can have a sampling of what it looks like when it's detailed a little bit over there, okay? So, so you know that you're gonna have this kind of look everywhere, right? And but you're seeing something that doesn't align with what you see in nature because it's a painting. It's in the stage where it doesn't match up, right? But these are necessary steps that you should take first, right? And be patient, knowing that to get the effect you want, you may have to have 3 or 4 sessions with that area to get it to where you need it to be. Now, if you want to, if your style is more alla prima, which is one sitting, then you could have started detailing it after you did the base, all right? And then of course that will yield you a different look. So it all depends on the look that you want, right? You can be that artist that can paint in different looks if you wish, right? If you have equal interest and joy in getting these different looks, then do that, right? You don't have to be locked into it any particular way that other artists are doing. What you want really is you want to up your skill set. You want to have the tools that you need, and that will help you to better express yourself the way you want, okay? But to start off this way, it's not a bad way to go. When I first started learning how to paint from my uncle, I tried to emulate the way my uncle would paint, right? Because that's all I had, right? And that's not a bad way to start because I really admire him as an artist. And I wasn't the only one. Everybody wanted to paint like him, including me, right? And so I did as a place to start. And then at some point, I had other ideas, right? Allowing myself to come forward and be able to be truer to what I wanted to see. But I couldn't do that if I didn't have the tools or the skill set at the level where I could, right? So do that first, and then hopefully you'll have enough. Then you can be truer to how you want to paint, really, right? And that can change over time too. You may want to paint this way in the beginning, and then you evolve as you paint here. You discover stuff, and you go, oh, you know what? I like this better. So when you get to the next level of your level of work, then you're going to make some adjustments, and then go on from there and see where it leads you, the way you like, right? But then you already have tools. So it's much easier to do it, okay? So we're just assembling our tools and explaining why we do what we do. That's just how it is in the beginning, okay? So what do you think, Ann? Are we?
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you.
Are we gonna wrap it up for right now?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So we will see you. When's the next time?
Monday morning, 8:30 Hawaii time.
Monday morning, 8:30 Hawaii time. Okay, sounds good. Thanks a lot for keeping me company, and have a wonderful weekend. We will. Oh, I also want to mention that we are going to make a promo for my new book. It's not that new. I think it was published in 2017, I believe. But it's great in the sense that we covered a lot of areas that might be of interest to you, such as working in the industry as an artist, as a gallery, and other got color plates, tips to do this, that, and the other. And anyway. That might come in handy. We're gonna have a real promo on that will describe it in more detail, but something to consider to have as part of what it is that you use to be able to advance your agenda. Okay? So for right now, aloha, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.